Welcome to the film analysis, today with Antichrist by Lars von Trier, certainly one of the greatest directors of our time. Critics are torn between two camps, as his films call for contradiction. You love or hate them, there is not much in between. Antichrist is no exception, having caused a scandal at the Cannes Film Festival, which resonates until today. Some suggested Antichrist to be misogynistic. Commonly, we see Lars von Trier's Antichrist as a film of a therapy doomed to fail. A man tries to treat his depressed, traumatized wife, but perhaps there's more to it. In the prologue, a wonderful Handel aria plays. We see unbelievably beautiful images in slow motion, the couple making love. At the same time, a small child climbs up to the window and jumps out, merging the purest aesthetics with greatest brutality. The woman is guilty. Making love to her husband, she had already noticed that her son was climbing up to the window, but she didn't care as she intended to enjoy the orgasm. When she has the orgasm, the child jumps out of the window. An extreme hedonism and the woman's tragedy. She is supposed to be the loving, caring mother, but for her husband, the mistress as well. Finally, she's a housewife. Between the child and the sex scenes, we see a washing machine again and again. The latter rotates and finishes with the woman reaching orgasm. Now she is no longer allowed to be a mistress and becomes a housewife again. The exception is perhaps much more telling than the rule. The social demand on women remains unattainably high. As housewife, mother and lover, she remains the eternally oppressed and the eternally feminine, both attracting and repelling men. Women seem an eternal disappointment to men, as Simone de Beauvoir once put it. She can never quite fulfill all expectations that men have. What the film shows here is the dilemma of a patriarchal society. In the classic of feminist literature, The Second Sex by Simone de Beauvoir, the author describes couple relationships and the understanding of roles between men and women. Writing: the average Western male's ideal is a woman who freely submits to his domination, who does not accept his ideas without some discussion, but who yields to his reasoning, who intelligently resists but yields in the end. Therein lies the true victory for man, liberator or conqueror, that woman freely recognizes him as her destiny. End of quote. This is exactly what the man in Antichrist, played by Willem Dafoe, demands of his wife, played by Charlotte Gainsbourg. She is traumatized, he works as a therapist, but never should a therapist treat his own family members. Dafoe overrides this and believes only he can redeem her, which ends in disaster. The goal of therapy is to reintegrate the woman into society. We can think of Jacques Lacan's criticism directed at American psychoanalysts. He accused them of merely returning the subject to the American way of life. The man in Antichrist pursues similar intentions, precisely what the woman opposes. The film doesn't tell any names, only woman, man, he, she. They represent their respective gender without possessing a psyche. A wonderful paradox, since the film mainly deals with psychology. The film takes us out of the city, out of civilization, into a dark forest, so that from now on we find ourselves in a mythologically charged topos where the man wants to treat his wife. At first, the woman pretends to be slowly healed, but as it turns out, in the forest hut, the woman has previously written her dissertation on witch trials. Now she is studying these occult books again. She reads how women are persecuted and maltreated, representing evil. We should not be misled by Lars von Trier. Even if he repeatedly flirts with misogynistic statements in interviews, he is not concerned with that. Let's assume the female protagonist does not read occult books, but rather revolutionary feminist writings, for example, Clara Zetkin, Rosa Luxemburg, and Simone de Beauvoir. From the reading, the woman realizes that as a woman she remains the oppressed one who just cannot free herself from this predicament. Importantly, the woman recognizes her desperate situation and does not believe in reformation or treatment. Her husband wants to willfully lead her back into the old role model, and she refuses to do so. Truly revolutionary potential. When the woman realizes her desperate situation, an unbelievably brutal excess of violence ensues. She mistreats and castrates her husband to destroy the patriarchal order. Lars von Trier shows her next step in all clarity. The woman mutilates her genitals. Why? We should not infer female self-hatred here, nor argue chauvinistically with female frigidity. The mutilation expresses the revolutionary's inherent asceticism needed for a political revolution in which sex is only a nuisance. Secondly, this revolution must be universal, indeed freed from the categories male and female. Antichrist closes with an impressive scene. The man is standing in the forest, completely deranged. Suddenly, all kinds of women slowly come staggering up, faceless, no longer individual, one body resembling zombie themes. The matriarchal novel Das Weiberdorf by Clara Fiebig already featured a similar scene around 1900 in its strange ending. Quote, "There were not many more women, but only one woman, the woman. In a flash she turned, forgetting everything, and rushed in a frantic run towards the man." End of quote. The individual dissolves here in the revolutionary collective. Lars von Trier knows how to distract from the messages of his films through his psychoses, having repeatedly addressed them in public. With Dogville and Mendeley, however, he has already shown what matters to him. Tremendously unambiguous films indicating society cannot be reformed. At most, it can be revolutionized. By turning to the mythical, von Trier somewhat obscures this unambiguity without straying from the path. Antichrist can be read as a paraphrase of Dogville. Melancholia is also a revolutionary film, in a way drawing a freedom from a great crisis. When doom comes, and it is inevitable, one can be truly liberated. What message could be more revolutionary? Facing doom, we don't watch, we see. It would be nice if you would like to support the film analysis financially. You can do so via my bank account or PayPal. Also, you can find me on Patreon. Thank you very much.